Hello everyone, I thought I'd make a quick update video here, talk about what's happened in September and what is coming in October. So in September we've managed to play a total of 5 games, which was my target for the month. I started out with Doom 2 No Rest for the Living, which was the bonus episode that came with the Xbox Live Arcade version of the game, and had a lot of trouble with that. The levels themselves were really fun and I enjoyed playing them. It was the editing process where everything kind of fell apart. If you were watching along, you may remember me talking about the difficulties I was having with my capture card. Basically, I recorded 10 videos with it and 6 of them corrupted, 6 of the 9 for Doom 2. And that really slowed everything down. It meant that there was a couple of days where I didn't upload anything, even though I was supposed to have one every single day. In the end, I found some ridiculous workaround involving Windows Live Movie Maker, re-rendering the videos before I could even begin to edit them. Ultimately, though, I got them out, and they were some of the best levels I've played, so at some point I'm going to have to pick them up on PC. The other game I recorded with the capture card was Outrun Live Arcade, or Outrun Online Arcade, that's what it's called. And that was just a one-off video I wanted to do. I used to really enjoy that game, and I still go back to it every now and again, just when I want something just to chill with, because it's almost hypnotic, therapeutic to play through that game. It's so calming. And I was surprised at how well I did, because it's been a couple of years since I played it last, maybe more, and I still managed to get through the entire game in one run. After I was finished with No Rest for the Living, I moved on to the master levels for Doom 2, which was completely new to me. I've never played any of the master levels, and I don't think my expectations were that high, but they really, really surprised me. Some of the best levels I've played from Doom came from the master levels. There were some terrible ones as well, some really ugly ones. But on average, it was really good, and the difficulty certainly more challenging than anything from Doom 2. I don't think it could compete with some of the levels in No Rest for the Living, but hopefully it puts me in a good stead for going into Final Doom. Another game I played this month was Command & Conquer Red Alert, the first expansion, Counter-Strike. And those levels, again, much like the master levels, I didn't have too high expectations for, but they were really good. I enjoyed pretty much all of them. They didn't introduce many new units, but the level designs were much more involved, more mission logic going on rather than just, wipe out this entire base kind of thing, or destroy all enemies on this map. There were specific objectives, which I thought the main campaign was lacking a bit. And last but not least, I went back to Rise of Flight at the end of the month. I'm going to be uploading 4 videos in total there. I'm not sure what day I'm putting this channel update out on, but for Rise of Flight, I will be doing one on the 27th through to the 30th. And then I'm going to take another wee break before I come back for that. Talking about November then, what's been happening? Okay, so on the Doom side of things, I'm beginning Final Doom. The first half of Final Doom, TNT Evolution. That'll be starting on the 1st. For Command & Conquer side of things, just like I did between Red Alert and Counter-Strike, I'm going to take a month out because it's quite time consuming to play and especially edit as well. And I have things I need to get done this month as well as another holiday planned in November. So I want to take the time this month to play through that game and get it recorded and then have it come out in November when I'm away. For Rise of Light, it was just going to be those 4 videos, and then I'm going to take a month out and come back, I think on the last day of October, if not the first day of November, and I'm going to have another little block of episodes there. After that, I would take a break and then come back next year, which would be 2016 in the game Let's Play. Hopefully when I come back next year with that, I will get the videos out more regularly. The reason it's kind of coming out in blocks is because it's quite time consuming to make the levels yourself. And Pat Wilson's Campaign Generator, which is like a fantastic add-on mod resource for the base game, it only goes as far back as the 1st of January 1916, and there were some kind of missions and events and planes from even earlier than that, late 1915, that I wanted to create my own levels for. And maybe I will do some of my own custom levels later on as well, but they will be trying to demonstrate a specific thing when I do, whereas with Pat Wilson's Campaign Generator, the levels that it auto-generates are much more fleshed out, much more going on in the air, more units and vehicles on the ground, just a bigger world. So hopefully I can create some better experiences with that. Plus I don't know every single detail. Like I know when I've placed a plane that there's going to be one right there kind of thing. Whereas with Pat Wilson's Campaign Generator, you don't know as well. But I need more games than just Final Doom coming out in October. So the next game I'm going to be playing is another Westwood game. It is not a Command & Conquer game, nor is it one of the Dune games. I think I've hinted at it a couple times over the last few months. But I'm going to be going back and playing Battletech Crescent Hawk's Inception, which is one of the oldest games I would have played on this channel. I think it's 1988, and the first ever Battletech game. Now, when I was a kid, I owned Mech Commander, and it was one of my favourite games ever. And I had no idea that it was part of a bigger franchise. I'd never heard of MechWarrior. I'd never heard of Battletech. So it was just that one isolated experience. But I still love that game. I go back and play it every few years or so. One of my all-time favourites. And recently, I've been getting more into the lore, more into kind of the idea of playing through the entire franchise. So that would be starting with the Westwood Battletech games, then going into the MechWarrior games, then Mech Commander when it comes around. And also, most recently, and this was kind of a big reason why I started looking into the lore more in depth, Battletech came out in 2017 now, 2018? I can't even remember. I think it was last year, so 2018, let's say. And that's a game I really want to play on this channel. Depending on how I get on, I may even start playing that at the beginning of next year. I want to play through the games kind of in the chronological order, not the release order, but the order in which they take place in the world, give or take, sort of. So that would be Crescent Hawk's Inception, then MechWarrior, and then kind of the first half of Crescent Hawk's Revenge before I go and hopefully get those games out before the end of the year, start Battletech at the beginning of next year. And then I can come back and do the clan stuff. I know there are mercenary games. MechWarrior 2 and 4 both have a mercenary game set before clan era. If you don't know what I'm talking about, never mind. But that's what's coming in October. One final note as well. I've started playing around with my microphone a bit more, so my voice is going to sound a little bit different going forwards. Please let me know if it's better or worse. The changes I'm making are to try and make my voice clearer to listen to and hopefully easier to understand, and maybe not as dull and monotonous as it can be sometimes. But at the same time, listening back to it, maybe it's just because I've done months of hearing my own voice in editing, it doesn't sound as natural to me. Yeah, it sounds as if I've got a poorer quality mic. At one point I was playing with the idea of getting a headset, hopefully, with the intention of getting better audio, because I've got a standing mic on my desk. It picks up a lot of my key presses, but it also means that anytime I move towards or away from it, my voice kind of modulates, get quieter, louder, that kind of thing. And because I wasn't doing any work to the audio files afterwards, I was just putting them straight into the editor and using them as was. What that resulted in was that sometimes the audio wasn't at its best, or particularly be too quiet kind of thing. Now though, I'm learning to use Audacity a little bit more, so hopefully the voice is clearer at least. When I was looking at those headsets, I was listening to some samples, and it just did not sound anywhere as good as some of the professional mics that these review channels were using. And I don't know if I would consider my own mic a professional one. I've just got a standard Blue Yeti, but I think the sound quality is a lot more natural coming through that than it is through pretty much every headset mic I could find an example of online. If you have any suggestions for games you'd like me to play, then please leave a comment below, because I am open to playing pretty much anything. I have a list of, I've mentioned this before, about 100 games I want to get through. A lot of those 100 entries are expansions, so I've made decent progress through it in this year, but still only about 20% by the time the year's done, and there's an ever-increasing number of games going onto that list. Hopefully I can get through them a bit quicker going forwards, because many of the games I've started and done so far have had a ridiculous number of levels. What I found is that the rest of the games on my list, they're a lot shorter, and so hopefully I can get through them a lot quicker, rather than dedicating entire months to one game. Alternatively, another idea that I'm toying with is to get more games going at once, stretch them out over a longer period of time. So I might dedicate one day for one game, or maybe just 1 week. So the first week of the month I'll play one game, the second week I'll do another game, the third week a third, and so on. And then do the next installment in that Let's Play the following month, and maybe do, I don't know, 3 or 4 games over the course of 2 or 3 months. It's all up in the air at the moment. I'll of course make another channel update at the end of next month, and we can talk about what's happening in October. I mentioned briefly in November I'm looking at another holiday. Haven't got that confirmed yet, so it may change, but I think that's going to go ahead. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. I really appreciate it, and I hope you'll join me on another video soon.